Hello and welcome to Crux Investor. We caught up earlier today with Luis Zapata. He's the CEO of Oro X, part of the X group. Paul Matasek is involved as well. Relatively new story. Haven't done too much, raised $6 million. Looking forward to seeing what they're going to do in 2021. Suggests it's going to be relatively aggressive. So enjoyed that conversation. If you want our thoughts on that, any of the topics discussed, and indeed the company itself, you can find that at cruxinvestor.com/club. Where you can also find detailed company reports, analysis. There's commentary from experts from around the world on a variety of companies, commodities. There's also training courses on there to help you with your diligence process if you're interested. There's also summaries of other interviews that we've done just to save you a bit of time. Plus, there's a thriving community of investors sharing their thoughts and ideas with each other in a nice, friendly, safe environment. Sounds quite nice, right? Why don't you go and join them at cruxinvestor.com/club. And we'd love your feedback too. So why don't you give us a like? It'd be appreciated. Leave your comments below. We get back to absolutely everyone. And of course, if you want to see what we talked about today, you can take a look in the description below. Luis, how you doing, sir?
Hey, Matthew. Good. Thank you for having us.
No problem. So where in the world are you?
Currently in Lima, Peru.
Fantastic. How's life there on the coast?
It's nice going through a bit of a second wave of COVID as the whole world is, but we're managing.
Well, look, we've got a new story today. Okay, Oro X. We've not met, spoken before, not heard the story before. I'm excited. You've got quite the board on there, some big punchy names. So I'm expecting great things. No pressure.
Thank you. We are too.
Well, look, why don't we kick off? Give us that 1 minute overview of the story, and then I'll pick it up and ask you some questions.
Sure. Well, Oro X is obviously named Oro X. It's a continuation of the X brand, which is my partner Paul Matisik's brand. He was involved with Lithium X, which got taken out for $280 million. He's currently the CEO of Gold X. So Paul and I had known each other, in business circles for quite a few years, and we decided to do a Peru deal together. I took over the vehicle that became Oro X in January of last year. And in under 1 year, we've done 2 acquisitions.
Fantastic. Okay, that's the overview for people. So Peru, gold. I know you've got an Ecuadorian project too, and we'll talk about that. Let's talk about that team, because like I referred to in the deck, it's pretty punchy. You guys have sold 5 companies, billions of dollars of value there. So who's on board? Who's actually doing the work day to day, and sort of who's advisory?
Sure. Well, look, our team, we're really a 3-person team right now. I mean, as far as management, if you will, or it's Paul Matisik, obviously, he's pretty well known. Daryl Carty's also on our board. He's been involved with deals like Underworld, did the shell that became K92. He's a pretty big, well-known financier in Vancouver, and myself, right? So, between the 3 of us, we really looked at this vehicle that we took over in January of 2020, and we said, look, let's build something cool with it. And Oro X so far is the resulting issuer.
Right. Okay. So you've got a bunch of finance guys running a company. So does that give us a clue as to how you hope to grow this thing? Is it just a numbers game for you, or like a finance play?
No, for sure. I mean, we've always thought about growing by acquisition. We are currently in Peru because we see a lot of M&A opportunities in the market. When we took over the Coriorcco asset, it's an asset that Paul and I had our eyes on for a long time. It's a high grade tier 1 exploration gold target. I had previous production. So, we've always looked at assets that we think we can create value from. Coriorcco certainly fits that bill. When we took it over, that asset had no social community relations. We looked at it at a Peruvian angle. We sent a totally Peruvian team, including Peruvian geos, community relations people, and now we just announced a 6-year exploration permit for that asset, right, from the community. So we are finance guys, but at the same time, we know how to look at assets and create value from them. Okay,
fantastic. So obviously focused on gold. Great. Great jurisdiction for it. I guess there's a lot of peers and a lot of comps, and I think you refer to some of those in the deck as well, which is great. So how do you finance this thing?
We did a $6 million financing when we became Oro X in June through September. That allows us basically to have the money in the treasury to drill Coriorcco. That's where we decide to go. We recently announced that we're heading up there this week actually to begin our 3D IP program, which is sort of the phase that we think we need to do before we get to drilling. Again, the project, as some of your investors may know, has been previously produced, bulk sampled, if you will. There's 13 veins. They're all mineralized. So we know there's veins. We know there's grade. We know there's some tonnage. The question is, can we build more tonnage? And that's where our focus is on right now.
Okay, you're going after, contain metal in the ground and stuff. But so we're talking relatively low grade stuff here, aren't we? Less than 2 grams?
No. Coriorcco, the average grade of the production was between 7 and 12 grams. So it's a dome, right? Coriorcco, there's 17 veins. which on a dome structure, they all outcrop. In 2008, 2009, those were produced. In 2018, the previous operator sampled all those veins, and the average grade at surface was 3 grams. The average grade 50 meters below the dome was 7 to 10 grams, and there's a chimney down 50 more meters, and the grade there was 13 grams. So we see the depth improving, the grade improving with depth. We see a lot of veins, and there's a lot of high grade there, so that's why we like it.
Okay, and so where have you got the geo team in from? Because obviously you're finance guys. You're going to need a good operational team on the ground. So who are they? What have they done?
We have just a geological advisor. We have really good geological advisory team. We have 3 Peruvian geos that have worked with us for 5 years. I mean, I've been in Peru since 2007, living here since 2013. I was previously the head of Canaccord LATAM, so I financed a lot of mining companies, and I got to meet a lot of great geos in my time in capital markets. So, we have a great team, Peruvian and Canadian, managing the project.
Right. Okay. So, talk me through the game plan. Then you got $6 million at the middle of last year. You've started drilling. You're going to start drilling. How have you tasked people to proceed? I just want a kind of sense of how you go about building a company, because obviously you've got the track record of some of the board members of building and selling companies. So what does this look like now in 2021? What do you hope to achieve? Are you going to need to raise more capital? What do you need to show the market, do you think?
Sure. Well, look, the first thing we did, Matthew, was go to the project and start a community engagement program, if you will, right? I mean, the project had no social permit when we took over. We as a Peruvian company, I'm Peruvian myself, and our team locally here is basically all Peruvian. We said, look, the first thing we need to do is we need to have an exploration permit, not just from the government, but from the community. We accomplished that in 3 months. So that's huge. This is a 6-year permit. I mean, you don't see that kind of permit in the industry, I don't think. It's very reasonable. I mean, the total cost is under, I think, 200 grand Canadian over 6 years, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a permit now from the community. This week, we've been up there with geos, and we will continue being up there with geos, completing surface sampling, mapping, and laying the groundwork for the 3D IP. Once we do 3D IP, we'll have drill targets. Also to the east and northeast of the dome, we expect to find more veins under younger geology cover. And that sets us up to basically drill in, Q3, Q4 this year. I would tell our investors that we're also permitting this project in a very Peruvian way through the small scale mining legislation. That allows us to basically be drilling this year, whereas a normal company, I think, would take, over 2 years to get a full drill permit. So we're operating it fast, we're operating methodically, and we're creating shareholder value that way.
Well, how do you get to accelerate things when other companies can't? So you talk about like local permit, 3 months to put in place. And what is this, an official recognized process, or is this just talking to the locals and saying, let's draw up a contract here? I mean, how does that work? And then when you're talking about the drill program, you're saying you're doing it quicker than anyone else. How come you get to shortcut the process and other people don't?
Well, Peru has 3 mining regiments. There's small scale mining, medium scale mining, and large scale mining. The small scale mining regiment is basically allowed for Peruvian companies owned by a Peruvian shareholder, which I am, obviously in trust for the Canadian company. That process allows you to basically, if you're a permitted small scale miner, it allows you to basically do all the work of mining in your concession. That includes trenching, sampling, drilling from within previously established workings, which we have at Coriorcco. So, we looked at this project, and also you have to be under 2,000 hectares, which Coriorcco is right now. It's just 2,000 hectares. So that processing timeline allows us to do what we need to do this year without having to get a full, environmental impact study.
Right. And so so you've kind of played the system, you understand the system, and you've worked out how to approach it. Brilliant. What does that mean in terms of how international investors may view you? Are you too small to invest in, or are you? There's the next stage 2 of the plan, which is we will be doing, consolidating land packages after we've been through this. But I mean, how do you tell that story?
Look, the Coriorcco system is totally within the current land package. I mean, the Coriorcco dome is sort of on the southwest corner of the 2,000 hectares. We see the veins trending northwest, northeast. So, we expect the veining to go towards more to the middle of our land package. So, we think we have the bulk of the system within our concession. This was a concession that was very well thought out. The original owner of this concession was the exploration manager for Hochschild Mining. He ran their exploration programs for, over a decade. and this was sort of his baby. So we think we have the crown jewel here as far as the Coriorcco system.
Okay, so talk about drill program. You've got a drill program lined up. How much are you going to spend? How many meters? You're telling me it gets higher grade at depth. So how are you playing this?
Right now, the focus again is on the 3AP. We're spending about 200,000 Canadian on that program, shooting it, this month, February. That's we've also budgeted for a 5,000 meter phase 1 drilling campaign later on this year. That drilling campaign we've budgeted 1.2 million US for, which is covered by our current treasury. So with that, we feel we can do the 3AP, develop drill targets, and then do a first pass drilling, which hopefully will show some great intercepts.
Right, and given the amount of juniors out there telling a similar story, market, why are you guys going to stand out? Why should anyone listen to you?
Look, I think Coriorcco has three things. One, has proven veins. Two, has proven grades. Three, has size. As far as the surface expression of the system, you have about an 800 meter by 700 meter surface, outcropping dome. So as far as a tier 1 exploration target, we think this fits the bill.
Right. And so what does the rest of this year look like? Are you raising more money, or what happens?
No, not right now. Well, look, I think right now we have a great team. We have a great asset. We have a tight share structure. We have capital, and we have access to capital. And obviously, we're not in Peru. We're spending all our time on Coriorcco. We're obviously looking at M&A opportunities. We think the market is quite good for that right now. We have a team that's obviously built to handle bigger projects, and we're actively looking at talking to people on that front.
Okay, so you bought 2 assets, but one of them you don't want. You don't want to be in Ecuador anymore.
No, look, we have an asset in Ecuador, Julian, which is the original asset that when I took over the shell that became Oro X, we put in. So the Julian project's interesting. I wouldn't discard Ecuador at all. Our partners in Ecuador is a company called Green Oil. They're basically one of Ecuador's biggest mining contractors. They partnered with me in a previous deal I did, which became the biggest gold producer in Ecuador before the bigger one now. So in 2017 they built the first open pit gold mine in Ecuador. My partner's there. So we have a great partners in Ecuador. We have a good project. We're only going to spin it out because we don't believe in multi-jurisdictional focus for exploration companies. But there's big things in Ecuador.
Why not?
Subject to the election going the right way in February.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. So why not? You've got a lot of people piling into Ecuador. A lot of people like it. As to say, the election. Well, I think both parties, both front runners, have come out as pro-mining as part of their campaigning. So I don't think Ecuador is necessarily bad. But what do you mean you don't like multi-jurisdictional? I think a lot of companies talk the language of we need to mitigate risk by being multi-jurisdictional. Why don't you like it?
Well, look, I think Ecuador, we have big targets there too. So Oro X with Coriorcco and potential M&A opportunities will be a Peruvian-focused company. We'd like to spin out the Ecuadorian assets because we have other Ecuadorian targets that will need their own management teams, their own capital pools, and their own, management focus, right? So I think that way we can create shareholder value by, spinning out, giving our shareholders shares in a new vehicle, and then letting that vehicle grow on its own with 100% focus from that management team.
Okay, so it wasn't a case of you made a bad decision. You just found something better, and you want to focus on that. That's what I'm hearing.
100%. Look, I think we have a great asset in Ecuador. We have great partners. We have a great asset in Peru. We have a great team globally. And the question is just how can we create more shareholder value, which is our focus.
Okay, but you're not ruling out future M&A, but it's going to be Peru-based.
I can't say what the future holds, but I can say that we're actively looking and actively talking.
Right, actively talking. Okay, you smiled as a clue. Good. Well, look, the team's got a track record in doing an M&A, so it would make sense. But I'm trying to understand how aggressive or how ambitious you guys are. So everyone talks language of M&A. If it comes up, opportunity arises, we'll do it for sure, because that's nice. That's a nice headline, right? But
sure.
What is the reality of your ambitions for, whether it be Peru or otherwise, for this company?
Look, I think it's easy to talk about things, but again, we have a team with a proven track record of doing things like this. I think if people know my background, I was a banker and trader for 10 years at the biggest bank in the block for this sort of deals. I've been in Peru, focused on mining finance for 10 years. So, I've been around the block. I know who to talk to and where to find deals. And that's why I'm in Peru at the moment. Certainly not here for the ceviche.
Wouldn't be a bad reason. Okay, fine. Well, I appreciate it. It's like a news story. It's early days. We've got to see some of these results coming back. But thank you for making us aware of Oro X. Obviously, a lot of the team we already know. You think you'll find it easy to get the money. You think you've got a good project, and precious metal space is not too bad a place to be playing at the moment. So come back on us. Let us know when things develop and how you get on. Okay, I'd be really intrigued.
Well, thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. And again, just for investors who are new to the story, we have a great team, tight share structure, a tier 1 exploration assets, which we're currently doing work on. And in the future, I think there's interesting M&A opportunities here in Peru to be on the lookout for.